Hello, my name is Zachary Dailey in Universtiy Group 9C, and I'm going to be talking to you about my project with my partner Robby Fredrickson. And today, our project mostly pertains to having people run around in hot dog costumes. Now, I know that sounds a little silly, but it's for the idea of boosting morale and motivating people to finish the race. And while it's silly, it has a very strong idea. Well, I got the idea from when I was a kid. I used to run cross country, and I used to hate running. It was awful. I still don't really like running, but I always pushed through and finished the race, even though it was awful. Running out in the heat made it even worse, but I liked running when it was cold. And I got the idea from when I was a kid. I used to go to baseball games, and they would have halftime shows where they'd have people dressed as hot dogs, and they would race each other, and there'd be a mustard hot dog, ketchup hot dog, and a relish hot dog. And they would race each other, and if your hot dog won, you'd choose, which one won would win the race, and if you won, you'd get some kind of discount or maybe a free hot dog. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was fun nonetheless, and that's what gave me the idea. The LLOs and how they relate to our project, citizenship, because it's really hard to just run around in a mascot costume at all. It's hot to be in one of those costumes, and especially in April, it'll probably be like really humid, so I can't imagine that it'd be pleasant to be in a mascot costume, especially a hot dog, and you'd look ridiculous. So communication, how it pertains to communication is you get people talking about, hey, look at them, they look ridiculous, they're hot dogs, and it gets people talking about it, and it's really creative as well. Just, who would imagine people would dress up as hot dogs just to run to get people to finish a race? How it relates to critical thinking is it really makes people think, this is so unique, like, wow, that's really something, And ethical practice, you're dressed up in a ridiculous costume just to have other people finish the race. That's really says something about your character. And, especially with it being hot outside, I can't even imagine. And it's a unique way to solve this problem, to have people dressed up as hot dogs. Our plan would be to split off into 5 groups, with each group having a specific role and leader. So each of these groups would have 5 people, and one of them would be a designated leader of their group. And these groups would, the leaders would meet weekly to assess how each of their groups are doing. And these groups would be, one of these groups would be one for gathering resources, as well as, that'd be the first group. The second group would be figuring out where we're going to have this separate area where we store all the costumes and keep everything administered and make sure it run properly. The third group would be a group dedicated to make sure everything is going correctly and exactly the way we wanted it to for our race. The fourth group would be the group in charge with dressing up as hot dogs and running around. And the fifth group would be the one making sure if any group was not doing what they're supposed to be doing or needed a little bit extra help for whatever reason, they'd be the group that steps in and assists them. And every week, starting after we get back from break on January, there would be a weekly meeting with all the leaders of each group, and they would do surveillance on each of the groups and figure out, okay, what else do we need to do? What do we need to get done this week? And all of these groups would need to be done, like all the projects would need to be completed on March 19th, 2018, so that we could do final checks and make sure everything was up to par and exactly where we wanted to be with the project. And I'm going to hand it over to my partner, Robby, and let's give him a hand.
Hello, my name is Fredrickson. I am also part of the Universtiy one-on-one group, and I am also in Section 9. Today I will talk about how the resources we would need in our project. The resources we would need are hot dog costumes, a place to get all of the hot dog costumes, people organized and keep on task. Basically, how we would be able to get these hot dog costumes, or like if people have them, or if we can find them online, or maybe the Universtiy would help us find people that would have hot dog costumes. And another resource we would need is water, tons of water bottles for the runners, because they're going to need to stop and get a drink. And a place to rest, like to stop and take a breather. And the resources would be obtained by donations or by having the Universtiy buy the costumes. Possible problems would include groups not completing their duties, like if somebody were to not do something right, or somebody would fall behind, somebody would have to pick up on their slack, and that would really put us behind, and we don't want that to happen. And another constraint would be not being able to find hot dog costumes. If we can't find any hot dog costumes, that would be a really unfortunate event, especially for my partner, who came up with this idea. And if we couldn't find any, we'd have to change them to some other costume that would benefit us and like inspiring the runners to run more. And not reaching deadlines. If we don't reach our deadlines, then we'll fall behind exponentially. It would be terrible to fall behind. And if like our deadline is in April 9th, and if we don't go to that quota, the project will be a bust. And another constraint would be miscommunication between the groups. If people started acting badly towards each other, like people started yelling at each other, there would be anger towards the groups, like people not getting their jobs done, people getting mad at the others for not doing their jobs. It would be really unfortunate for that to happen. And another one would be people getting sick. There's always sickness going around, especially in the summer season when all the weather's changing and the pollen's going through the air. People have a lot of problems with breathing and allergies. I myself have this problem. Another reason would be not being able to make it. Some people might not live like our commuters, and they won't be able to make it, like if it's like raining or their car broke down or they have a flat tire. That would be another constraint. The heat stroke would be another constraint. While runners are running in those hot costumes, that'd be a constraint on what happens if we actually get to the race, which I'm hoping our project does. And these are the sources and the references we have used. There's one on Halloween race costume ideas retrieved from Run to Finish, and Bruning top 10 best costume races in the U.S. retrieved from Shade.com. Carnegie Mellon University, what are the best practices for disguising group projects, retrieved from Carnegie Mellon universities. And what you need to know about heat stroke and summer running. This would be a great article for our people running in costumes. If they ever get heat like really hot, they can find ways to cool down or not fall down while they're in the costumes. Another reference was the Ritter A 7 tips for surviving a group project, retrieved from USA Today College. Like if you have issues of being in a group or have communication skills with other people, no communication skills with other people, that would be a bad thing.
All right, and we just wanted to say thank you guys for listening to our project, and hopefully you'll vote for us.
Thank you, and goodbye.